sweet souls. I am super excited to do today's session. I've been buzzy and busy and in trying experimenting new things. So I'm super looking forward to spending this Friday with you to do all the things in which we do. So I'm going to keep an eye on the comments. Please let me know that you can see me and that you can hear me. Hi, Kara. Hi. Oh, Elizabeth. Hello. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me from YouTube land. I don't always get a whole lot of people coming in from there, so I appreciate you come and hang out with me. You might see that I'm looking at you here and here as well, and it's just that I have two cameras going at the moment, or two screens rather, and so I can actually see the comments here while I can look at you there. But while y'all are coming in, I'm just saying hello. Hello, Sweet Pea. Today, the game plan is to read your life questions through the lens of your guides, your guardians, and your ancestors. So that's what that little marquee right there is just talking about briefly, is that's what we're going to be doing. So, hey, Sandrine. Ooh, do I love how she said hello, friends. I love that we're all friends here. If you're new to this little land of ours, we're all spiritual besties. So go ahead and just acknowledge the fact that you now have a new best friend, and it's me and everybody else here. So you're welcome. I'm an oddball, so don't be surprised if I try to make you laugh. Don't be surprised if I try to poke and just metaphorically tickle your sides if you're ticklish, all to get a laugh out of you. Kara says that she can hear me just fine. Michelle, hey, Sweet Pea. Nakiba, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're here. So I do have my little spiel that I always like to talk about, and then I have a little bit of a surprise, which may be a surprise or maybe just like, well, duh, honey. And, you know, neither here nor there. So in case you do not know, Sweet Peas, my name is Abby. I'm a professional psychic tarot medium, and I live in the Seattle area, and I was just thinking about the days in which I book right now is limited to Thursdays and Fridays, where I do face-to-face client sessions, because my bigger business is the tarot marketplace that I created and own and operate. And right now, Q4, it is busy. And between shipping and listing and handling customer service requests and handling nuances and gifts and all these things, it's like, okay, we have to make some room here. But we got it. For now, for the time being, I'm still booking Thursdays and Fridays, and I'm probably going to throw in one more day after the new year. So just keep it on the radar. But my, what was I saying? My game plan, like I always mention, and I wrote it down just to make sure that I don't forget it. So yes, it's to read for everyone today. And like I say, I like to do it through the lens of our guides, our guardians, our ancestors. I do believe that they have our best interest at heart. They're kind of looking for our advantage, our best way to whatever it is that we're trying to do. So why not just like pull them into the conversation? Why not see things from their vantage point, their elevated point of view? Those are super things that I love to be able to do for you all. One thing that I do want to make sure that everybody is aware of is that recently, as some of you know, spam has been a thing. There has been people who come in who imposture other readers and ask you for a reading, or try to gift you a reading, or try to do a reading for you by reaching out to you through the comments here and try to connect with you personally. Please understand that I am not affiliated with these people, and I don't know or can verify their caliber, their ethics, or anything to that way, shape, or form. So I hope you don't run off to them, but if you do, please just be safe. Please be safe. Please be safe. I actually just had a recent experience where one of my favorite intuitive peoples reached out to me, and it totally was expected, because her and I have a connection through a course of hers that I participated in. So I was super excited to hear from her. To me, it was like, oh my goodness, yeah, you and I talked before. Why don't we talk again? So I engaged it, I conversed with her, and then she asked me if I'd like a reading from her. And I'm like, dude, yes, I would love a reading for you. And then it dawned on me, she's been misspelling things. Her cadence isn't quite right. Dude, I got catfished. The same spammers that sometimes, go after you, sweet souls, got me and it hooked me. I didn't, pay for anything. I didn't agree to the reading, but I just understood completely how exciting it is and how almost special you feel when someone says, I want to do a reading for you. But please, please, please understand that I do not know a single ethical reader who conducts business in that way. The kind of standard agreed upon method, and that's for like standard operating practices for most practitioners is that you go to them. You go to them. You solicit the reading to the reader. The reader does not go to you, because messages work in a particular kind of way. Ethics work in a particular kind of way. And I always say what starts in chaos usually ends in chaos. And we just can't vouch for it. So that's how we put it out. That's how we do it. So yeah, Sydney, I totally got catfished. I got spammed kind of the same way that sometimes people come in here too. I do suggest though, if for instance it's my face that is reaching out to you saying, hey, I feel some kind of way, DM me for a reading. If it's my face, send me a link to that profile, because it's a personal page, not my business page. That is somebody else's personal page that has pulled my graphics, pulled my recent posts, pulled my information, posted it, and trying to get your attention. If for some reason that happens, send me a link to that Facebook post and I will report them for impersonating me. Please block, please ban them. Don't let them talk to you. And if you always have any questions, you can reach out to me directly on my website. So that's a nice way to, like, is this Abby? Is this really Abby? You can reach me at my website. So I hope that makes sense. Hi, Miss Denise. Yeah, Sydney, that was some stuff. Kara says that she's been through that before and actually had 5 spam messages after my last live. Dude, it's annoying. And in one way, I appreciate seeing that. It's like a mixed bag, you know, when you appreciate, you know how they say imitation is the highest form of flattery. Thank you. But it's like, this is not, it's like, no, that's not fun for me. So it's like, thank you for the messages getting out there. I'm glad that they're relevant and that they're being seen. I wish they weren't being manipulated in that way, but we can't always control the way in which our product is birthed out into the world. So I just try to hold space for varying degrees of everything, and then just be kind along the way. Sandrine says you should create a safe word so we ask them what it is. Oh my God, that is a really, really good idea. See, we might have to figure out a way to do that, because if we say it here, they'll know, right? So we might have to figure out, like, what's the safe word? Sandrine, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Hi, Cayenne. It's so nice to see you. So let me tell you a little bit about how we're going to pull today. The way that I like to go about it is I ask for the questions, and then I give space and time for you to put your questions into the comments. I pull for whoever is there at the moment. And so usually I pick one that just pops up and just kind of like yanks me, pops it, I select it, and then I read that way. I love to read for as many people as possible. And while I don't deliberately go out of my way to skip someone, I do choose strategically. Like, this is my fun. I want to enjoy the question. So if I've done a lot of like love readings, I may hop and skip something to go to a business reading just to give some variety. So it's nothing personal. It's not because I don't like you, honeys, and squish your cheeks. But I choose strategically. So that's how we go about it. Hello, Paula from Portugal. She's already asking for a reading, so I love it. Thank you, Sweet Pea. What I suggest is that you do have a specific question. The more specific a question you present to me, the more direct an answer I can provide you. If we go vague and generic, what we get back is vague and generic, and it's not so much fun. Like, the chewy stuff is in the details, isn't it? But yeah, that's all the fun stuff for me. If you'd love to share this or invite a friend of yours to the session, please do. I do suggest that you share meaningfully. As much as we love it when our stuff gets, kicked around, share meaningfully. Like, if you legit feel like this friend of yours could benefit from seeing the content or seeing the message that showed up during the session, yeah, get their attention, yank them in. I do not mind. Just throwing me into other groups because it seemed like a good idea. Don't do that. Don't do that. Looks like somebody's getting tagged now. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate you guys. So I'm going to say hello again in the comments. Oh my goodness. I love that you guys are here. You guys make me happy. I appreciate all y'all for coming to hang out with me. I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. So if you guys are ready, I'm ready. I just suggest that we all kind of, why is she being like asked like 5 times? Hold on. I'll see if I can do something about this. There we go. It's okay. Done. Okay. What I suggest is that we all kind of step to this moments and create a little bit of an intention. So while you're kind of thinking and mulling over your question, what is the intention that you have for this session today? Is it to understand something a little bit more? Is it to get a little bit of clarity? Is it to get a little bit of relief? I love helping people understand and feeling that that exhale that happens when you get an answer to something that you've been mulling over. That's my favorite stuff, y'all. So yeah, set the intention of what you're looking for out of this session. I know my intention today is to connect you all with your guides, your guardians, your ancestors, using the energy of source to kind of help us find clarity and insight and wisdom, all for the goal of self-sovereignty. Yo, that is my jam. That is what I want to do for everybody. And that's my bestie. That's my spiritual bestie in that moment. Like, oh, that makes me happy. So yeah, oh, the exhale is the best. There you go, Katrina. Absolutely. 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 I'm going to do it one more time just because it feels so damn good. So go ahead and put your questions into the comments. I'm going to pull one here in just a moment, but something that I'm going to do while you're doing that, I'm going to split the screen so you can see my working space. I've always talked about how I've wanted to do this with you all, but I've not had the opportunity to do so. So I think my mics are still good. There we are. You can see my little messy space here. So basically my game plan is just to give you the kind of bird's eye view to what I'm doing, what I'm working with, how I use my hands, since I talk with my hands so much. I do know that the camera is a tiny bit delayed, so you might see it be a little blurry because it's using the Wi-Fi instead of my data connection. So my apologies if it's choppy. If it's too choppy, I'll kill it. But for now, if it's okay, I just will leave it up and let you guys kind of get a peek as to what happens on this table. I hope you don't mind. If you hate it, let me know and I'll never do it again. So that'll be something else too. Sandrine already has a question, is my guide the one trying to reach me when I'm sleeping and keep seeing glitches of a face? Oh, but getting scared. Actually, tell you what, let's start there, Miss Sandrine. I love that question for you. Is that your guide that's trying to reach you? So let's see what shows up for us. So when it comes to the cards, sometimes I will pull a card to give me like additional insight and information. Sometimes I'll just shuffle them because it feels good to shuffle them. So you might see a mixed bag of things. But if you have any questions about what I'm getting or where I'm getting it from, please feel free to let me know. I do not mind. All right, Miss Sandrine. I also have my little notebook here. I love making notes. Whew. Sandrine is one of my sweet regulars, and I'm pretty sure I misspelled your name, but it's all good. She's one of my regulars here, and it's so funny reading for her. Her spirit team often tells me no. Like, it's so funny how anytime I try to like look into her future, look and to give her some insight, it always seems to be like spirit guide teacher saying, no, you can't give her the answers to this test. You need to take a step back. And I'm like, okay, I guess I will. But let's see if they'll open up for us a little bit to show us what that is that you're kind of seeing. What is it that you're seeing? I just realized I don't have my candle lit, so I'll do that in a moment. Sandrine. So I'm just trying to hop into her energy and see what's going on there. What is this face that you're seeing? So I got my first one. What is this face that you're seeing? What is this? So the feeling that I'm getting just sitting here thinking about it is a curiosity question. I feel like it's I wonder what that curiosity is about. So that's stuff that we'll have to chew on, is what is this that has that question about you? Looking at you, looking at it, looking at you, looking at it. What is this? What is this thing that's watching her? Or what is this face that she sees? Ah, okay. So a couple of the things that I'm getting, and I'll totally share with you the cards that I'm getting in a moment, is along the lines, I feel like you're having bits of a past life memory is the feeling that's coming to mind. It feels like almost you're remembering something, not necessarily witnessing something in real time. So I hope that distinction makes sense, like more along the lines of when you accidentally picture someone's face that you used to know, or when you think about your ex and their picture comes to mind, it's kind of like you're having this feeling that's showing up for you, and it's attached to this face, and so it feels kind of like a remembering. So not so much necessarily a guide per se, but it feels like an old acquaintance, if that makes sense. So let's see. The cards that showed up for you was the King of Swords, the Hangman, and then I have the Death card there. So I'm using the Journey of the Sacred Bee Tarot, if you're just curious about the cards that I have. The Hangman. See, I think we're spot on because the death card is often about transitions, and what's the biggest transition than actual passing, and then the transition between life. The hangman is often talking to us about that surrender, so it's definitely nothing that you can really do anything about at the moment. So make peace with it because it's not malicious, it's not doing anything to you. It's like a memory, and then it has the meaning that you apply to it. So the King of Swords is just, to me, it's that hyper analytical. This almost has that companion note to it though. So, ooh. Dude, it still comes back to, it feels like to me, it still comes back to someone that you used to know, if that makes sense. It still feels like someone that you used to know. Sandrine, you're totally gonna have to tell me what you think or how that lands for you. Ah, Cynthia Hope. You can make it. Oh, you tagged somebody. Sweet. Perfect. Wait, did you say King of Swords? Yeah, right here. What do you know about that? Oops, excuse me. Look at that eagle. Tell me that is not a beautiful face. Does it focus for you? Oh, it's all good. I hope that makes sense for you, Sandrine. And please feel free to totally let me know how that lands for you. I would totally dig that. You read your ancestral book and you're trying to find your ancestor, and that was the card that you pulled. Very cool. Hey, it might be literally somebody you used to know, but it did feel like a little bit more past tense, like past life. Um, so I'm sure if you're looking for ancestral stuff, one card is not going to 100%. What would you say? What would I say? One card is not going to only be the representation for that one person in your existence. So as you start working with that book in particular, you might start pulling other cards into the mix too, to kind of add more to the story that is that ancestor and understand it more. Now, if for instance, you have the King of Swords, the Hangman, and the Death card show up for that ancestor all the time, and I also pulled it, I would say, hell yeah, that's that same ancestor. But this is like the repetitive instinct that I have with it though is that it feels like somebody you used to know, as though like used to know past life kind of thing. That's the recurring theme that I get there. Uh-oh, I don't want to. There we go. Sweet. Sorry about them. I just got them banned, and we'll work on deleting them as we're able. I know my Lori will be in here soon, and she'll be able to help me take care of this too. So Sandrine, well, let's unpack that a little bit. Why do you have fear? What makes you scared about this situation? Like, unpack it a little bit. Because in all reality, usually we have fears around things we don't understand or don't know. So if you don't understand it, maybe you can talk to it, maybe you can ask it, or maybe you can maybe you can journal about it. Maybe you can put up some boundaries about how you want contact with you to be made. I mean, you are still a willing participant in your spirituality. Spirituality doesn't just happen to you. So if something is occurring that you didn't know you weren't okay with until it happened, and then you realize you're not okay with it, then set up a boundary for yourself. Like, we can't work like this. This is not how I'm okay with doing that. Because she said to come through. Oh, the face said to come through. And I shut the door on her, unknown. All right. So in that kind of situation, maybe ask her, like, what do you mean? I need more details. I need more information. I just don't blindly, go into things. Listen, but also understand that you know how to take care of yourself if anything should happen. Because in all reality, what do you believe could happen? Like, what is your worst case scenario fear? And once you understand that worst case scenario fear, understand, is it possible? Can it happen? Whatever your fear happens to be. And then maybe knowing that can help you unpack it, or maybe knowing that can kind of help you prepare in advance. So for instance, if you're worried that they're going to suck your spirit away, not saying that that's even possible, but that's the irrational fear that shows up, right? Then maybe you create kind of like a mental, I always have this bell on my shoulder, and every time I ring this bell, I know where I'm at. Whatever routine or whatever ritual that you can do. You thought it was sleep paralysis? My understanding about sleep paralysis is that's more of the physicality of what is going on for you during sleep. That is consciousness while your body is in its biochemical paralysis mode. That's the stuff that keeps you from sleepwalking. That's the stuff that keeps you from, getting up and acting out your dreams. So you seeing the face while kind of drifting, does those two don't come together, is if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Hi, Shay. Hi, Shay. But yeah, Sandrine, like maybe make a list for yourself about what your fears are and then unpack them a little bit. Get to understand them a little bit more so that you don't have to be scared of what's happening for you or happening around you. There's nothing scary here. At least my experience is nothing's been scary because I'm the queen of thinking something is more or bigger or more dramatic than it actually is. And in all reality, reflecting on every one of my experiences that I've had since I've kind of made this little internal agreement with myself, I've never once had a physically harmful experience. I've never once had a menacing anything experience. I've never once had anything that scared me to that degree. I've had things I don't understand, but just because I don't understand it doesn't mean I have to be afraid of it. It's just where I lean in for it. That was fast. Block user. There we go. I'll delete it. I hope that makes sense. They say angels don't look like what we draw. So maybe it's just because it's distorted face, like a huge eye. Understood. We often get nervous around things we don't understand. Angels, the word angels, I feel like is a noun that we have designed to apply to a specific kind of energy. So that energy could be anything. And the noun angels could be anything that you want it to be. So if you want it to be your angel, go in. But it's all up to you, hun. It's all up to you. But if you have something more specific that you want to kind of like dig into, totally let me know. I don't mind kind of unpacking this further with you. So Brittany has a further question. You guys, if you have another question, please feel free to go ahead and throw it into the comments. I'm just going to pull the next one that shows up. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So Brittany says, my grandmother passed away on Sunday in a house fire. I need to know if she suffered or if she has any messages. You're kind of a mess. I am so sorry to hear about the loss of your grandmother. You guys, everybody send her some hugs and some love because that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And I'm so sorry that she happened to transition that way. Not that I feel like she, for instance, suffered, but we're going to dig into it and see what shows up for us. I do want to light my little incense though. Hop into your grandma's energy. Sunday. Let's see what your grandma's willing to share or what I get to know about the situation. So I'm just lighting my little stick of incense because I really, really love, I really love a little atmosphere when I do this kind of work. And it tends to smoke out the camera, then I'll move it. There we go. Let's see. Your grandmother. So I'm going to move my little notes and scooch my little behind in here a little bit more. There we go. Your grandmother. Okay, well, let's see if we can understand. I want to see if I can connect into her first. Your grandmother, Brittany. So I want to make sure that I'm hitting her. I'm getting that energy. That's who I'm trying to first. Brittany, so the feeling that I was getting when trying to think of the personality of your grandmother, I'm getting this kind of like almost satirically comical kind of person, like this. I'm still feeling my way through it, so just you get to see me sketch. Let's see. Because she feels funny. And you'll totally have to let me know if she was kind of like a humorous person. But and the reason that I say funny is because the first thing that showed up for me when I'm trying to dig into this house fire incident, I mean, I feel like there's this understanding, like, yeah, that was kind of a, I know the family feels it was tragic, I feel like the news will say it's another thing, like, oh, that's so disappointing and sad and, so forth. However, I feel like your grandmother is putting it together kind of like, I do not say this to be insensitive, but the way that I'm getting the information, she almost feels kind of like a badass for having gone out this way. Like, you know how those people who says like, well, I went out in a blaze of glory. I'm like, oh, too soon, like kind of thing. So that's why it's just like she felt like she had that light beat to her. And yeah, that was how it felt. So she was funny. Gotcha. Oh, wonderful. I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear that she was the funny person, because to me it's like she's not at all, at least the feeling that I'm getting at the moment is that she's not at all upset with what occurred. And actually I feel like there's a little it feels like there's a little bit of pride in it almost. It's this interesting pride of um for instance, hypothetically, I used to talk about how if I'm going to die, I don't want to die in my sleep. I don't want to die, in a car accident. I want to be mauled by a tiger. I want to be like, something insane. I wanted to go in a blaze of glory, essentially. It would be interesting that people would like remember and like, how'd that happen? Kind of thing. That was my way of wanting to go. And so that was the feeling that she shared with me for a moment there. It's just like, no, that was kind of badass. Like if anybody was going to go, that's kind of for her, that was kind of badass. So that was the feeling that she was giving me. And it just kind of made me feel warm and funny. So I just wanted to share that. So I know that you wanted to know if she suffered, and the feeling that she's giving me is that it was just like falling asleep. So it's like by the time she died, she was already gone. So there's no need to worry about what actually happened to her. It's more of like that situation of like, if her body is a car and she parked it in the garage and walked, across the street to go have, food at the diner or whatever, basically what happened is the garage burned down and the car was left in it. And so it's like, oh, well, I guess insurance got that. He ain't worried. That's the feeling I'm getting, is that she is not at all worried about it. Block user. There we go. I'm so sorry you guys are getting these. Block user. Sweet. Okay. Let's see. She was a Spitfire. I love that. And, that's kind of a beautiful way of thinking of her, even though that is the way that she transitioned, that she was that kind of like Spidey person. I love that about her. I love that, even just kind of sitting in her energy with her. So another feeling that she's giving me is this, I feel like she would have been the grandmother that would have leaned in, whispered to you, you're my favorite. Don't tell your siblings. Don't tell your mom. Don't tell, whoever it happened to have been. Like, shh, don't tell anybody you're my favorite. And just kind of like, I didn't say it. I didn't know. And if anybody asked her, she would have lied. Like, she's that kind of person. Oh, so I guess the point was, I think she liked you a lot. If you have siblings or if there was other grandchildren or other members of the family, I feel like she liked you a great deal. Like you were her favorite. So that was kind of the hugs that I felt like she wanted to make sure that you got. Let's see what else is in there, Grandma. Okay, so I was going back to the feeling of you feeling like you were a mess. And I feel like she definitely wants for you to remember that she's having a party now. So it's not anything to be upset about. Her passing, her transition is not anything that anybody needs to be worried about or concerned about any much further than they already are, because Grandma's having a party. Grandma's beast mode. She is, oh, for goodness sake. Okay, so she just gave me this visual of like, girl, I got my 25-year-old waist on. I feel good. Like she's just giving me like this almost want to go dancing kind of thing. Like you got my like she's got her energy back. She's got her ability to move back. She's got her, what is it, swing? Like she just feels like she wants to dance. And so I feel like she just like wanting to tell people like, girl, don't worry about me. I'm good. I'm going to go dance here now. Like, I'm just going to go enjoy myself. I'm going to go have a grand old time. It's like, that's the bubbliness, but she feels like she's literally got like, she's a little proud of the body, that not literal body, but kind of like the mental projection of the body that she's creating for herself, since she now knows that she can do it. That she feels like she's slender, like maybe she was when she was in her 20s, and she feels a little bit like a hot mama, probably like when she was in her 20s, and she has the waist keeps coming back. So whatever it is about the waist, she wants to like accentuate the waist, if that makes sense. Hi, Candace. I hope that makes sense. Oh, she loved to go dancing when she was younger. Oh, so good to hear. Yeah, I feel like she's dancing, like legit dancing her ass off, is the feeling that I'm getting. So she's like in party mode. She's having a grand old time. So no one needs to think of her as like, oh, tragic situation, long lost grandma. Don't mourn her. Like, that is not at all what I'm feeling about this woman. She does not want to be mourned. She wants to be celebrated because she's having a blast. So think of her having a blast. Okay. Did she have any messages? I knew that was the other part of your question, is if grandma had any messages for you. She's giving me stuff that, okay, so it's this mixed bag of, your mother would say floss your teeth, right? Your mom would say, make sure you set your doctor's appointments and take care of yourself. But she's like, honey, go eat your cake. Go have some fun. Go have your cake and eat it too. Go do the things that you wanted to do. She's reminding me to remind you that life is short, regardless of the chronological age. Life is short, and to make the most of what's available to you, make them, especially movement, because I feel like she keeps going back into like maintaining movement and staying loose and staying limber and not losing mobility, because it just sneaks away from you so fast. The way she got it, or she brought it back to me, was specifically regarding mobility. Especially because we have the ability to do things about it. So stay loose, stay limber, work out, exercise, move your body, because it sneaks up on you regarding losing mobility, if that makes sense. Oh, you were saying that she was opposite of your mama, so she can see, you can see that. Yeah, I totally felt that juxtaposition. Like, your mom would say, floss your teeth. Your mom would say, make sure you fold your clothes and put things away and do things the proper way. Grandma is telling you to live your best life, and not the whole you only live once, like that's reckless. She is saying, like, go have fun, go enjoy your life, go um go enjoy yourself. That's the big thing that she I'm just pulled. Oh, you just pulled your back and she knew that? Oh, okay. So she's actually being literal for you in that regard about your mobility. Work on this now. Work on regaining your muscles, strengthening. Okay, so once you've gotten your strain under control, once it heals, work on strengthening those muscles, and front and back, because your back is supported by your core and the muscles around it, because remember that. And then your hamstrings also connect in there, so you got to remember to take care of those too. And also your shoulders, don't forget those. So the whole point that she's trying to remind all of us, so this is not just me, this is everyone here, is that losing your mobility sneaks up on you, but you can do incremental things to stay on top of it, so that you can stay loose, you can stay limber, you can continue to move, you can continue to dance if you want to. Dude, I totally want to like listen to that song now. Or what is it, Whitney Houston? I want to dance with somebody. Oh my god. But no, your grandmother feels vibrant. She gave me the words, more alive than ever. She feels effervescent. She is excited where she's at, and she's basically in Boogie Town. So she's good. She is good. There's no need to worry about your grandmother. Your grandmother's in a great space and great place. So I hope that makes sense, hun bunch. But she's giving me tons of love and tons of hugs. And so I'm sure she's giving those to you. So thank you so much, Brittany. Thank you so much for letting me to connect with your grandmother. She's a sweet one. I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. So yeah, if you guys have questions, and I saw Miss Candace said hello, and my Gabrielle in here said, hey. Hey, girl, hey. I'm glad that you're here. Hi, Miss Ebony. Thanks so much for hopping in. Mwah. Goodness. So go ahead and throw your questions in. You're very welcome, Brittany. You're very, very welcome. Let's see. I saw one that I thought was, I'll just do this one. Any messages from your husband or your son? You lost them both in 2020. Hugs, honey, hugs for you. Let's see. Your husband and your son. Your husband. Hi, Aura. So nice to see you. Hello, hello. let's go back in here. Marilyn. So I'm just gonna sketch it out a little bit and just kind of doodle. And let's connect and see what we can get out of both of them. So I know that you're asking about your husband, your son. So the first feeling I'm getting is your knight in shining armor. So whichever one of those two, because I know sometimes sun can play that role too, but whoever it was for you that felt like your knight in shining armor, that's the one that wanted to show up right away. When did my candle go out? Y'all should have told me. That's the feeling that I'm getting right away is the knight in shining armor. Let's see. I'm trying to also keep an eye on your comments so that I can follow you as you comment on this. Who else wants to show up? Just for your son. I feel like this is your husband because he's bringing me details that I feel like only a husband should know about. Because oh God, what is it? Okay, let me just give you the information that I'm getting, and then you guys can make heads or tails of it, or my dear Marilyn. The feeling that I was getting, that would be your husband. Got you. He's giving me the thing about it's not a nightgown, but it's like I feel like he's referencing that cute little thing you sleep in. Is kind of the way it's being presented to me, is that cute little, the like it feels like a spaghetti strap number kind of thing. Sorry about this. Block user. There we go. There you go. Just want to make sure I got them out of here for us. But yeah, he keeps bringing my attention to like a, gosh, what is it? Kind of like a spaghetti strappy, kind of like, thing. Like he's bringing my attention to that. It needs to be removed. Yeah, I think I got it. Please go ahead and block and delete the person too. So so that mutually we're getting them out of there. But yeah, Marilyn, that was the first thing that he brought up. Okay, so something else that he's still bringing in just stuff that's just like husband says to a wife. It's that whole like not stopping doing this. Like don't stop wearing cute stuff to bed kind of thing. Like that's very much the feeling I'm getting out of it. Is like, no, keep doing that. And it's like because it makes you feel kind of pretty, it makes you feel comfortable. And he doesn't mind either. It's kind of the feel about it. So he still feels very much attracted to you. He still feels very much wanting to get connected, and it feels like that intimate embrace between a spouse. Like that's what I'm. You have no idea. That's okay. But that's just the thing that he's bringing up. So maybe it's something you can get for yourself, because that was the first thing he showed for me. So let's see what else your husband wants to share. Because he keeps bringing up stuff like doing nice things for yourself. Like he brought up shoes for just a moment ago. So like getting some nice shoes, but it's in the framework of like doing something nice for yourself, making getting goodies, sweets, nice for yourself is the repeat stuff. Excuse me as I hiccup. And I'm getting, let's see what else is in there. What's up, hubby? He's bringing up something in regards to the dog and then the lawn. Do you have a dog? And then two is what are we referring to about the lawn? You don't do much for yourself? Oh, maybe that's what he's like. You got to do some sweet stuff for yourself. Let's see what else. It's feeling like it's going back into the dog on the lawn. Dog on the lawn. Do you happen to know what he's referencing, or do you like understand like when I'm making the reference, or when I'm seeing the reference about a dog, and then the feeling I'm getting along with it is like outside in the yard, the lawn is kind of the way it's being put. I'm wondering if you understand what that reference is. And if not, totally okay. Like we'll just keep it going. What else do we want to know? Because it feels like getting outside. The other visuals I'm getting is like getting outside with the sun, like out in the front yard. I saw something regarding like hedges, planting, gardening. not literal fruits and vegetables, but like shrubs and plants kind of things. He had two dogs that you didn't care for. I can see that. I can see because the subtle other thing that came with the lawn was the damage to the lawn that dogs sometimes do. So I wonder if that was like a thing. I don't know, but we'll see. Sometimes the specifics I get are like, I don't know if they make sense, so I try not to omit, but I try not to like verbal vomit everything that shows up for me. So I hope we understand the difference. Hey Tisha, I'm glad that you're here. Hi Isha, hello from YouTube land. I'm glad that you're here, sweetie. Let's see. What else did your husband want to know? Want you to know? He's giving me this kind of feeling that he put something away for you. I want to say it's kind of in the I hope you got it kind of thing, but it kind of has that same feeling of like, I don't know if it's like life insurance or a a will or a what if bucket, you know, like it feels like there was something that was reserved, put away that you probably would have come across and kind of like that feeling of like I want to know if you got it is the feeling that I got. So yeah, you'll totally have to let me know if that even lands for you, if you've received something that you got after he passed. Because that's the feeling that I keep getting is like, oh, I wonder if you got it. Let's see. Let's see. Another feeling that he's giving me is this understanding that he could have been a better husband to you. And so it wasn't so much feeling bad, it was more of a I recognize I could have done more and I could have been a better husband, for instance. I could have been better, is the feeling he's giving me. Oh, you looked for something because you expected him to do that. Okay. Ah, maybe there's something still in the works. It might show up for us soon. If it does, you totally have to let me know. You totally have to let me know. Let's see. Hi, Miss Lori. I'm glad you're here. What else? What else do you want him to know or want her to know? She's bringing me back to bed and you being in bed. I'm wondering if you ever like feel him when you're just laying down or in bed, thinking he might be just still like behind you, kind of thing, or because I got two visuals at the same time, kind of like this elevated view of the bed, and then you on one side, him on the other, for instance, and he brought me back to memory that I have of like those few occasions when I wake up in the middle of the night and I feel the weight of my wife beside me, but I wake up and it's actually 7 and she's up. Like it's the time difference is there. So my thought was, if you're feeling him, it's because it's him. So you don't have to like, oh, that's just blah blah blah, or that wasn't such and such. You know, you don't have to think think it away. You don't have to explain it away. What you're feeling is the case. Gotcha. What did you mention? I understand that comment, but I always thought he was wonderful. Oh, I love that. I love that. Hmm. Let's see. What else? I wanted to see if I can pull your son in for a moment there. Because I feel like he just like totally was the quieter of the two and just kind of stood back. Did he refer to his dad as Pops? Or who was Pops? Because that's the term that I'm with Pops was kind of the feel that I got. Or who was Pops? Like now I'm curious. Like who's this Pops? No worries. And if you don't know, that's okay. But that was just the words or the language that I was hearing for a moment there. Your son. The feeling that I was getting for just a quick minute. Oh, hi, Marcelo. Um, was this sense of like carelessness. His children. Oh, his grandchildren called him Poppy. Aw, very cute. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Poppy Pops. I want to see when I'm practicing, I try to go for even more specific than like that distinction to me is a deal breaker, not a deal breaker, is a big deal. I want to be able to hear Poppy versus Pops because to me that's like the syllable difference. I should be able to catch that. So I'm still training, y'all. I'm still training. I still work on this all the time. It's okay. What's your son? Yeah, he's bringing me back to a sense of like recklessness. If you were sitting with me, I would probably unpack it a little bit further. But the feeling that I don't know if he necessarily was, I mean, a lot of people pass for lots of different reasons over 2020, but I feel like he's taken a little bit of responsibility for his transition because of some reckless behavior. Is that's me kind of making an assumption. So totally let me know if that connection is correct or if I'm just like, oh, way left on that one. You agree? Gotcha. Let's see what else is in there. Hi, G. I'm glad you stopped in. Oops. What else? What is this? Because it just keeps going back to this recklessness. Oh, that was true. Okay. This recklessness, I feel like, I don't know if you've ever had that. I wish I had done more. I wish I could have done more to prevent him or raise him differently or something better so that such and such doesn't happen. The feeling that he was giving me was getting some distance between those two concepts and that there wasn't anything that you would have been able to do to change the outcome of what was going on. Because I feel like his situation, there we go, his situation was the natural progression of things that had been put in effect. So decisions have a way of what do you call it, steamrolling, and that was whatever. Sorry, I don't know how he passed, but he's talking about it in very like the summary that I'm getting is not literally in like a overdose per se, but I feel like it's something related to his behavior. So it's like my bad behavior, my bad decisions led to this kind of thing. And that's how it's being presented to me. And then there's that a side feeling to it where he's acknowledging that mom probably has some guilt around something and kind of feels sometimes a little bit responsible because it's so easy to blame the mom, right? So easy to blame the mom. But in this circumstances, it was not mom's fault. This isn't a mom thing. This was a him thing. This was his choice, his decisions. Oh, thank you for telling me. Let's see what else is here. He does feel like he gave it to me twice, so I know this one's spot on for you. He keeps telling me that he feels like you were the greatest, though. Like you were the best mom for him, and that's why he picked you to begin with. So it's like he sought you out, he picked you. You were he feels like you were the greatest. So I dig that. I dig that. Let's see what else is in there. What else is in there? I do feel like he was in his mind he was destined for greater things. Like I feel like he wanted to, like, I don't know if he wanted to go to school or do like more education or longer education, but I feel like he was kind of wanting to do more things than what his, I don't know why the word dereliction keeps coming up, but what his it's kind of like if you can't get out of your own damn way, essentially, it's kind of the feeling that is giving you it. It's like I had all these ideas, I had all these things I wanted to do, I just couldn't get out of my goddamn way. It's kind of the way it's being put. Oh my goodness. Anything else? Um, he's giving me the words, I wish I had a dog. So I don't know if he had one or if he was wanting one, but there was that definite feeling of like, I wish I had a dog. I wish I wish I had a dog. Oh, let's see. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Anything else? Anything else from your son? I feel like I'm getting hugs and love again, so that to me is kind of like when they start to wrap up. He feels like he wants to like remind you that he's always around. Actually, he's using the words "I'm always there with you" is the literal words that he's showing up for me. So yeah, I don't feel like he's giving me any other like loud stuff. Like I feel like he walked in for his moment to kind of like quote unquote set the record straight. And I feel like he's satisfied as of right now. Anything else you want to mention? Bring up? He said something good for you or good to you? Do something that's good for you. So he's doubling back on like bringing me a memory from something else. So doing something that's nice for you, doing something that's good for you. It seems specifically good for you. That is what he's looking for, doing something that's good for you. You doing something that's good for you. So I'm wondering if he's still like thinking about you and your health and stuff like that. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, thank you so much, Marilyn, for letting me chat with your husband and your son. They're both warm people. I liked dipping my toes in their energy. So thank you so much for that. But you all, I see that you, oh, could be. Gotcha. Gotcha. Let's see. I want to go ahead and pull another question. Excuse me as a hiccup. I also want to relight my little candle over here. And we're going to focus on a few live questions and maybe hop back into mediumship here in just a moment. So totally, totally, totally. Mm, let's see. I see you guys have some job questions. Interesting. Is the work market gone weird on us? Let's see. There we go. I like my little candle, my little incense. All right. Oh, while I'm lighting this, if, for instance, you guys are interested in booking with me privately or one-on-one, that is something that we can do. I'm just trying to do this while I light my little charcoal incense here. The way that I operate privately is similar to this fashion where it's by Zoom, and we are camera face to face. And what I do is I read for you either in 30-minute or 60-minute increments. And basically, you have that opportunity in that space and time to ask any question in which you're interested in me digging into. And it can be mediumship, it can be life questions, it can be anything under the sun. I think the only things that I'm not really comfortable on digging in is about your time of death. I'm not a big fan of doing that. And don't ask me for the lottery questions because I'm not going to give them because I would do that for myself because I'm that kind of selfish human. No, but that's the whole point is that we don't read on that kind of work, but I will read on almost anything else. Anything else. And so if this format is not your forte, that is more than fine. You can definitely book with me one-on-one. And those sessions are recorded. So you get a visual copy of them after our session is over. So it's kind of the actual extra fringe benefit of booking a session. I also am doing gift card style services at the moment. So you could always order a service for someone else or maybe for yourself, but in advance, all those kind of things. So definitely available and options and options and options for days. Alrighty. I'm sorry I was frozen there for a moment, Sandrine. Hopefully this clears up. Oh, look, Miss Ebony. I know I've worked with Ebony before. Oh, those readings are amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Let's go ahead. You guys are throwing in your questions. Let's see. Will you and Matt. So hi, Miss Jasmine. Will you, well, Sorry, I keep not reading it. Will things work out? Okay. Oh, let's see. There you are again. Can I get a relationship reading with me and Matt? Oh, you guys, I am sorry that y'all are getting spammed yet again, but in a different manner. So I'm gonna see if I can block that on my side briefly. One of these days we'll figure out the perfect routine to take care of this so it's not so much of a thing. Dun 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 dun. Messages, notifications. I try to protect you all so much. That's why I'm always like, oh, you bugger. I might have to go in there later because, yeah, this person's not instantly accessible in this format. That's fine. We'll get them. We'll get them. Alrighty. So, will things work out? And you're very, very welcome. That's okay, Lori. It wasn't necessarily in here. It was through a different one of the other posts. So I just get the notifications for it, and I usually hop in. But when I'm busy, I'm busy. I'm working with y'all. So let's see. All right. You and Matt, will the two of y'all work things out? You and Matt. What's going on here? You and Matt. Sorry, it's being slow to come in. So when it's that slow, usually there's a reason. So I'm trying to feel my way through it. You and Matt. What's your name, husband? Work things out. You know, the funny thing is that this question feels so broad. Oh gosh, she's still doing it. Feels so broad that it's hard to answer it directly. Because I feel like there's a lot of choice and free will still here. So if you're looking, and that's another thing, what does working out mean for you? Because it's what that means is what working out, meaning, does that mean y'all are going to get married? Does that mean you guys are going to move in together? What does working out? Will you reconnect, rekindle? Like, what does working out mean? Because I think that is what we need to dig into. That's what, there we go. Can you tell me if he still loves me and his feelings? Will we be together again? That's your little question, is will we get together again? Because when it comes to the feelings someone has for another person, I can only speculate for days, but also you can ask them. You can ask them. And often that is more conducive to what you're actually looking for. Anyway, let's see. Will the two of y'all get back together? So I'm going to pull, and I feel like I got that one really wanted my attention. But the thing that's coming up foremost for the two of you is that I feel like you have this idea of what you're hoping for out of the situation between the two of you. And I feel like you guys can totally reconnect, but it's not reconnection in the way in which you are hoping for. So, okay, this is bugging me. This person, sorry, I don't mean to close you off. This person is bugging me. So let me see if I can kill it. That's my other one. Most relevant, newest. Block. Thank you. Ban and delete. Okay. You had your statement. Where'd it go? You saw him. You saw him today. I know he still loves me, but I'm wondering if we'll be together again. Uh-oh. If we'll be together again in a higher commitment or a long term. That's right. I feel like you guys are going to reconnect. The reconnection is not the issue or a big deal. That feels pretty natural and neutral for the two of you. I feel like, though, the part of what you two are learning together is what your needs are and where what you guys need from relationships, what you guys need from each other, what you guys need in general. And I feel like long term, this is not the situation that you're hoping it'll be. So that's the thing. It's not that it's worthless. It's not don't do it. It's just understand that this relationship is exactly what this relationship is, whatever it happens to be, however it chooses to manifest for you. I wouldn't try to shove on top of it something that it's not. So for instance, if he just wants to date, just date him. Or if he just wants to date and you're not okay with that, then go ahead and maybe decide to do something else. But if you're trying to force this dating situation to turn into a husband situation, that is like trying to put your cart before your horse, and it's not going to do what you want it to do, is the feeling. You're asking, does reconnecting mean in a relationship, committed again, or seeing each other? I still see him. I saw him today. So what I mean by reconnection is, because we love to put labels on what our relationships are, but the thing that is universal is a connection of some sort. So that means visual, that means talking to them, that means y'all two kind of vibing on each other's, friends or what have you. So by reconnecting, I feel like you guys are going to be on speaking terms for certain. But when I'm saying that it's not going to progress into this longer, deeper, bigger thing that you're asking for, I feel like you have this ideal that you're trying to mold him into. And my suggestion, the invitation, is to accept him for exactly who he is and what the relationship is, instead of trying to expect more out of it than where it may be ready for, or what it may be ready for at this moment. I hope that subtlety makes sense, because I know that that's like, just little caveats, little tweaks on the information, but it's very specific. We are committed and together. We were committed and together for 2 years, but we had a break. I still see him. He loves me, but I think he's hurt from the past. Understood. Understood. I feel like he cares, but I don't feel like you guys are going to do the, because I feel like what you're looking for is to go back to the way things were as though nothing ever happened. And I want to make sure that you understand that that could be a very unrealistic expectation out of this situation. And it would put too much pressure on it, so that it would end up drowning the relationship, the connection, the connection between the two of you, before it even got its energy back. So for now, from where you're at for now, just allow it to be whatever it is. Does that make sense? Allow it to be exactly what it is, because I feel like that will allow the relationship, the connection, the freedom to grow, the freedom to choose, the freedom to decide, in a way that if we go ahead and throw the labels onto it, that we may not get out of it. I think that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. He said, thank you. Sweet. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Alrighty, sweet pea. Ew. Do you think it'll be a good outcome for this UK job I'll apply for? Honey, you haven't even applied. Ask me when you've applied. Possibly is all I can say. Possibly. You guys are funny. I love you, Sandrine. I love it though. What should I expect from my roommate? Sorry, I have a wire in my way, so that's why I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? For these last 3 months, what should you expect from him from these last 3 months? What should you expect from him? I'm just chewing through the feeling that I'm getting and trying to understand it. What should you expect from him? I'm scowling because the energy feels weird to me. And I say it feels weird because I don't understand this back and forth to it, this slight Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of feel to it. So he doesn't feel like he's hostile or violent per se, but I do feel like this person or this energy kind of has this tendency to be a bit manipulative. So the feeling I'm getting is like more of the same, but for you, it almost feels like you keeping your eyes on the door. Like know where the door is, know what's coming in the door, know when you can run out the door, kind of thing. Like knowing what your resources are, knowing when you can go, Is that on the table? You leaving this? You leaving the roommate? You leaving the situation? Like, is that on the table for you? Because to me, it feels like, okay, so hypothetically, I'm not even saying this is your situation, but the feeling that it's showing up for me is that almost that this is like an abusive relationship, but it's not like physically violent abusive relationship. This is more like threats and fear mongering, I guess is the term for it, when we kind of threaten you into submission, or we can manipulate you into submission, for instance. And so the feeling I was getting was like more of the same as what you can expect. And then the feeling I was getting for you is keeping your eye on the door. So I feel like you wanting to know, or you feeling like needing to know when to escape, or when to leave, or when to do the thing. So you agree? Oh, after your baby's born is when you're leaving. Yeah, I'm leaving. Okay, gotcha. So you said that makes sense. Oh, there we go. There's gonna be some these gonna be some tough last 3 months for me, and I want to know if I'm going to get the help that I need. Gotcha. You agree. After your baby leaves, you're leaving. Are you gonna get the help that you need? I feel like you have to ask for it. Because it feels like it's available. I just want to make sure that you ask for it is the thing. So yeah, I that's the distinction though. So I'm wondering if you're starting to, or if you haven't yet, maybe we need to start pulling your resources, pulling your information, getting like a contact list of people that you can reach out to in the events that something occurs. Because yes, you'll totally have the help that's available to you, but I feel like you have to ask for it. So it's that asking portion that I feel like is still really important to do. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I hope it does. But thank you so much, Hun Bunch. But yeah, go ahead and throw your questions into the comments. I think I'll read for a couple more questions, and then I have to bounce because I have a client session here in a little bit. So I'm a busy lady today. Oh, I did have the cards that showed up for you. Magician, the Princess of Wands, and Queen of Discs. So to me, overall, I do feel like you're going to get the help that you need, like the nurturing, the nesting that's happening. But I still feel like you have to create the magician card. Oops, there we go. Let's see if I can get it without a glare. The magician card for me is often talking about our own ability to create, our own ability to master, our own ability to essentially, you're going to be able to have the ability to create this life, this hope, this stuff that you need. You will be able to create it and get it taken care of for yourself. Boom. I hope that makes sense. Let's get rid of this person too. Block user. There we go. My neck is stiff. It's all good. All right, Hun Bunches. I see that y'all are throwing in your questions. Aww. Let's see. That's an interesting one. Let's start here. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome, Ebony. April, any insight on your marriage? Will you two last? Will you two last? Let's see what's showing up for you there. Any insight on your marriage? Your marriage, April. So I'm just kind of feeling my way through what I'm getting. Last. Okay. I feel like I need to, it's like clarify, but I want you to understand something. I'm trying to figure out what it is that I want you to understand, because I have the feeling, but I have to dissect it. I have to talk about it. I have to speak it into translation. I have to translate it. That's the word we're going for. So April, the feeling that I was getting when you're asking the question about your marriage, will it last? The fact that we're asking that question specifically, will it last, casts doubt on your own energetic outcome for your relationship. Not saying that all relationships are perfect and that we should only think of them in positive terms, But when we go ahead and kind of do the whole will it last, we're already kind of accidentally throwing in the towel. And it's just an energetic thing. But I feel like making those little tweaks, making those little nuances, or bringing your attention to that can be really beneficial for you. So instead, my invitation for you, instead of thinking of your relationship in terms of will it last, maybe think of it like, what can I do to make it better? What can I do? Because you can only control your own behavior. What can I do to help nurture and foster and strengthen and empower? Like looking at from what you're trying to bring into your relationship instead of focusing on what you don't want out of the relationship. Does that make sense? I know it's a slight distinction, but I feel like it's really, really important. And I feel like you're capable of understanding that slight nuance, that slight difference. I do feel like the two of you would benefit from understanding each other's love language, because I feel like a lot of your communication is sometimes just misunderstood. Like, it just gave me like I got a moment of like a hypothetical situation. For instance, if he tries to do something nice for you, but it happens to rub you the wrong way, and it's like, I was trying to do something nice. It's like, but that's stupid. How would you think that I would like that? He's like, I don't know, but now I feel bad. And he's like, well, you're not supposed to feel bad. You know how it just kind of circles and cycles and it turns into a whole big to-do. It makes sense. Gotcha. I'm glad it makes sense, sweetie. But it felt like understanding each other's love language. So if you haven't done that little quiz for each other, for the both of you, that would be really, really beneficial. But also start understanding how to speak love to each other. So one thing about understanding each other's love language, you then know how to speak that person's language. So for instance, my wife's love language, one of the things that she loves is acts of service. That's one of her languages. And that means she feels loved when I do things for her. Abby, feels loved when someone spends time with me or touches me. So the funny thing is, Melissa hates to be touched, but it's my love language. So because it's my love language, my first instinct is to go and hug her. She don't like hugs. So I have to speak her love language. Her love language is me bringing her popcorn, is me bringing her a blanket, or me getting her coffee, or her about to go do something and I run and go do it first. That's her love language. She feels loved when I do that kind of thing, if that distinction makes sense. And I hope that might be useful for everybody else too. Let's see. Lori laughed. You know my wife. Or you've heard of her at least. Let's see. What else is in there that we need to understand about that marriage? Okay. Something else that I want you to understand, and again, it's distinctions or little nuances, is that every marriage will come to an end in some way, shape, or form. So that is like, it's almost like we're all going to die. It's going to happen. Now, the time in which you spend with your person, making the most of it, making it wonderful, making it bountiful, making it useful and a joyous situation for the two of y'all, that's the fun part, right? And so in addition, I almost lost it. Hold on, what was it? Oh, there it is. Just because the relationship ends does not mean that that was a wasted relationship or that was a wasted time. A 2-year relationship can be a successful relationship. Our society measures the value of a marriage or a relationship in its duration. And I feel like that is useful and then skewed at the same time, because you can learn a lot, even if it was a tumultuous relationship, in 2 years that you may not ever learn with somebody in 15 and 20 and 30 years. Does that like little nuance make sense? Because it's like, even if you guys do break up, it does not mean it was an unsuccessful relationship. I know one of my relationships was successful because it produced my child. I know another relationship was successful because I learned more about myself in those 6 weeks than I have ever up to that point. And that was so needed. That was so needed for my continued involvement and betterment for myself. So it's like, yes, it was a short relationship. And I know we have this thing, we want long-term relationships, but dude, I would not be the woman I am without that 6-week clusterfuck that I went through. So never wasted time. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Alrighty, you all. I'm going to do one more and then we'll wrap it up. Whew. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, that's a good point. You learn from everyone who passes through your life. Lovers, friends, absolutely. Absolutely. Candace, do I need an additional guide for Ooh, there we go. Okay. Do I need an additional guide for progress on your book? Gotcha. That's a great question, hon. Do you need an additional guide? Okay. So the feeling that's showing up for me for you is, oh gosh, hon. So the guide is already there. So it's no longer a question of who or what support you can get to do it. I feel like, gosh, what is it? This is like your doctrine, your thesis, your, what is it when you're studying to be a PhD? Not your thesis. I can't remember that last word of like the book that you write. And it's your dissertation. That's the word. I bet everybody was throwing it at me for a moment there. Dissertation. Victor. See if we block that one. Thank you. So I feel like this is your dissertation, and a lot of this process, a lot of the struggle that you're running up against, or a lot of the, it feels like friction. It feels like friction is the friction that you're having with yourself on certain aspects of this work. So that moment of friction is really, really good insight, because I don't feel like you would have had it otherwise. And I feel like you're usually pretty good about, oh, this flows here, this flows there, this, it just travels, it just vibes, it just joys. But this contrast is giving you just a tiny bit of friction. It's like understanding where your rough edges are and now having the information to massage them a bit. Does that make sense? Oh, Sandrine was shoving it at me like dissertation, definitely. Let's see. I hope Miss Candace is still here. I hope she didn't leave. Okay. What else? What else? What else? Do you need a new? The guide's already there. You're already being brought through the process. I feel like there's a subtle nuance or a misunderstanding that we feel like this book is happening on your timeline instead of something else's. So it's just like, you know how when they say when you're having a baby, your labor has nothing to do with you anymore. It's somebody else's show. It's somebody else's ordeal. Like it's not at all about you anymore. It's about the thing that you're maybe that's part of it, is actually thinking about it in relation to like a pregnancy, a creative project that you're birthing and kind of transcending. It's not on your timetable. It's not going to happen the way that you see it or plan for it to go. It's going to happen the way that it decides it's going to go. You have an outline, but feeling writer's block to fill in the details. Gotcha. You know what suggestion or invitation is? Maybe actually having that subtle conversation with your guides, your guardians, your ancestors, whoever it is that's working with you to get this project done. What is the next logical step for me to take now? And just do it in small pieces, because I bet you anything that outline is great, but it can be so overwhelming that just shuts this shit off. Does that make sense? I wonder what that is. Anywho, I just saw something. I didn't understand it, but it's all good. The whole thing, though, yeah, just ask. I feel like it's available to you. The information is there, but it's like, ask them what the next logical step is now, instead of trying to eat the whole big horse at once. I hope that makes sense. Yes, small steps. Definitely, but it's not something you didn't know either. So that's info that you have. It's right there, accessible to you. Again, it's like it feels like it keeps coming back to you trusting an aspect of this process, like you wanting it to move on your terms, and it's not gonna. It's not gonna. But it's all good. Ooh, Lori was like, and when you're screaming that you want to whack your spouse for getting you pregnant and you're not responsible either. Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely. It will happen when, yes, it will happen when it's supposed to, but as it's supposed to. So even the journey of it is exactly perfect. So, because you know how sometimes we get really focused on that outcome? That process in the middle is part of the chewy stuff too. But I know you know that. I know you know it. Hugs and love, Candace. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. But you all, thank you so much for coming to hang out. Thank you so much for visiting. If you'd love to book something with me personally, please feel free to let me know. You can message me or drop me a, what do you call it? Or grab the link that's attached to this post directly.
There's so many ways to get in touch, honey. I'm around for days. But I want to go get prepped for a client session. I have to get this off and get into something else.
But I look forward to seeing you all next Friday. So you take care. Have a great holiday season. I don't know. I will see you next Friday before Christmas. Yeah, I will. All right, you all. Take care. Maybe. No, maybe it will end.